Good morning, good morning, good morning again, folks. In spite of you seeing this document, it has everything to do with the JRC, but not the article we've been going over. We got an update. And make it short and sweet. We are not going to go through the usual disclaimers. If you want to see them, they'll be in the description box, just as they always are. All right? It's getting late morning. I want to go for my walk. Alright, so, update. And I didn't tell you yesterday because if you think I curse a lot on a general video. So this update came through from Demanding Justice yesterday. We all know what the consent decree is on this channel, yes? It was obtained by the JRC back in 1986 during the proceeds of a case of one of the folks, Linda Cornelison in particular, who passed away under their care due from a stomach ulcer that was ignored because they all thought it was behaviors. And she received, in that time period of 2 days, over at least 80,000 Aversives. We remember the horror of that case, right? That's where that consent decree comes from, where they go to the courts, the judge signs off, and they continue to torture the kids and tell us that it's safe because the judge said so, right? Well, you know from this channel that over the last several preceding years, we've gone up time and time and time again to get that consent decree overturned. Every single time, because surprise, surprise, the Massachusetts courts are still and have been literally since the 1600s corrupt as, trigger warning, I'm gonna curse, corrupt as fuck. You can see this here. The judge has ruled in favor of the JRC again, keeping in place the consent decree, which takes the power to regulate the JRC from the Massachusetts agency. So what that means is their state agency that is supposed to oversee all these programs in schools, like out in my state, it falls under the Department of Mental Health, under specifically the Division of Developmental Disabilities that I've worked for. They are stripped from any form of ability to regulate the JRC. They have the power to regulate every single other program in the state. But the JRC, they are not allowed to regulate, nor are they allowed to yank their license, even when they are torturing the students there. That's what that consent decree is. We're going to read the response to the ruling that, once again, surprise, surprise, Massachusetts continues to defend. Let's pull up the document here. As you see, I front load all my videos because I have to sleep sometime. I know. I say I'll sleep when I'm dead. This is the article from it. Stop the Shock Coalition. We have a coalition, folks. You're welcome to join anytime. Response to the decision to maintain the Judge Rotenberg Center consent decree. The Stop the Shock Coalition was disheartened to hear today's ruling upholding the consent decree, which takes the power to regulate the Judge Rotenberg Center away from the Massachusetts agencies responsible for the oversight and licensing of services to people with disabilities. Which means they don't even have the power that my office had. We could take or yank. Still can, with impunity. You want to know why? Because as backward as Missouri is, that's the one area they didn't really want to fight with the autism moms with. Probably a good decision. We got some real mama bears out there. I love you, my autistic moms. I call them that because these are not the same as autism mommy TMs. These are real allies that has actually backed the neurodiversity movement in all its capacities out here. But moving on, including giving us places to meet, I might add. Judge Rotenberg Educational Center, Inc., JRC, is a facility that employs the use of aversive abusive interventions, most notably electric skin shock, as part of its treatment approach to modify behaviors. Every time you say modify behaviors, I'm sorry, all I keep hearing is brainwashing. We're going to try to brainwash you into acting neurotypical. I'm sorry, Karen, that's not how any of this works. I can mask, but you can't change how my neurons fire. This is why I think the so-called idea of ABA falls on its face even before I knew just how barbaric it was. Because you cannot change how my brain is built. Sorry, not sorry. And don't get me started on Elon Musk, who wants to try to fix it with a brain chip. I owe that guy a sucker punch to the gut. For all of us. JRC, which stands as the sole facility in the country to use electric skin shock on developmentally disabled, currently operates under the protection of a 36-year-old consent decree. Since the 1980s, when the consent decree was put into effect, evidence-based treatments have changed dramatically. That's an understatement. The treatment programs and their success rate has by this time been well established. The argument that the data is not out there is a bunch of bullshit. It's been out a long time. It's been out since the early 2000s. I know because I saw the reports. On my desk, in massive stacks on either side. I close my eyes and they're burned into my memory banks, alright? JRC, which stands as the sole facility in the country to use electric skin shock on the developmentally disabled, currently operates under the protection of a 36-year-old consent decree. I'm rereading because I'm brain dead, folks. Since the 1980s, the consent decree was put into effect. Evidence-based treatments have changed dramatically, obviously, as has pharmacology, I might add. Okay? It is now well established that a range of behavioral approaches are available which are not only humane but more effective than using severe, painful punishment. Also the same reason why we no longer use corporal punishment in public schools, although I have noticed in places like, shocker, Massachusetts and New York, they want to bring corporal punishment back. When I say that the GOP is trying to take us backwards, they're really trying to take us backwards. Good God, they're all stuck into their make-believe worlds of Leave It to Beaver, and I think if they put all this crap that was going on in the 1950s back, that magically their world will be better. These are individuals who don't seem to understand that the world changes, and they don't want to change with it. They want to drag us all back. Well, I'm sorry, the cat's already out of the bag. Anyways, sorry, got off on a rant there. The procedures used at the Judge Rotenberg Center were well outside the professional standard of care for the most severely disabled individuals. If the department seeks to get out from under the decree, it must wait for a legislative solution. The Stop the Shock Coalition is working to pass the H-180, an act regarding the use of aversive therapy currently in the House, which will put an end to abusive aversive therapy. Sincerely, Lisa Hunt, lead organizer, Stop the Shock Coalition. As always, we had to find a way around the courts, and the reason why is that for over the last 36 years, the JRC has used that consent decree and dangled it over the head of our Massachusetts counterpart like the sword of Damocles. If they try in any way, shape, or form to act on the authority that is invested to them by the state, they will put on them a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Agencies like that and departments are poorly funded. Remember, I used to work for it. I actually know for a fact that it is. In fact, out here in Missouri, they take millions of dollars out. more and more every single year, which is why they could not afford to make my position at the state a full-time one, and why I had eventually had to leave due to the cost of living. Okay? We're running as a skeleton crew on a skeleton funding, which gets less and less and less every single year. We cannot continue to fight the JRC in the courts. We have to appeal to the politicians. It's not fun work, but it's what has to happen. It has to be done through the law. It has to be done through the law in such a way that those who are the corrupted Massachusetts courts can't really do anything about it. So, this is our next move when it comes to dealing with Massachusetts directly as a state. We are lobbying and working essentially around the clock. We have organized protests like the ones that took place yesterday in order to get H-180 passed. Now, you may not live out in the state of Massachusetts like me, and you may be a broke mofo like me. But what you can do is help get this news out there. Share. Voice your allianceship with us to stop this barbarity. The decision that will eventually stop the existence of places like the JRC will not just affect Massachusetts. It's going to be the death knell for institutions and all these places that use aversive therapy, or as we like to call them, punishments, as a form of medicine. I need you to drop whatever it is you think you're doing right now. I need you to step away from the TV. I need you to step away from social media. Or, if you're going to use social media, start working on this with us. Because these are the things that actually matter in life, folks. Not many people are going to be asking your opinions on the latest Twitter trend. They may want to know where you stand on things like this. We're going to close out, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time. And as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I am going to have a link to this decree statement. Please save it, share it, all right? Bye-bye, everyone.